Excellency Dean and Vice Dean of Mathematics and Natural Science faculty, all of the lecturer staff, and all of our beloved students. It is a great pleasure for me to give a warmest welcome to all of you to attend this third series of our bilingual seminar, which held today on 3rd of May 2021. First of all, let's say thank you so much for our Almighty God for His blessing so that we can attend the seminar, even in virtual due to the pandemic situation. Ladies and gentlemen, Bilingual Improvement Program is a continuation program from our faculty, which aims to give a chance to our lecturer staff and also our students here to learn and share their ideas. The participants of our third series of bilingual seminars today are lecturer staff, our students in our faculty, especially our students who are a part of joint lecture program with Ming-Chi University of Technology Taiwan and Göttingen University. This seminar intends to inspire us about how important education to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals and also the potential of higher education to support Revolution 4.0. This topic will be delivering from our two great speakers tonight. On behalf of our committee, I'm Luhmita Priyanka. I would like to personally thank you for our great speaker, Mr. Dr. Rernat Iwayan Karyas, SPD MSc, and also Ms. Dr. Nia Erlina, SPD MPD, who are willing to give their time and also their knowledge to enrich our participants tonight. And also, I want to sincerely give appreciation to all of the committee for organizing the seminar. I ensure that the seminar will be profitable and also the next few hours will be enjoyable and fruitful for every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mita. The next agenda is welcoming speech from our Dean, Prof. Inenga Suparta. For Prof. Inenga Suparta, the floor is yours.
Great, thank you for Master of Ceremony because of the time spared to me to deliver a small welcome speech, actually. Our Honorable Vice Deans one and distinguished speakers, Pak Wayan Karyasen, Nia Erlina, our beloved students, and Bapak Ibu yang saya hormati ya. Let's give me chance personally to thank Almighty God for the chance given to us this evening. We are in one room having a very nice chance to talk each other, to see each other, although in a very tragic situation, yes, COVID-19 pandemic. This evening, we will have two nice topics, I think, and both are related to what will students learn from Göttingen University. And I should inform all of you here that we have another collaboration with European University beside collaboration with MCUT, Ming-Chi University of Technology. And this collaboration is with Göttingen University, as the committee just recently informed you. In this coming 2 weeks, started from 17th of May 2021, one lecture from Göttingen University will deliver a very nice topic for us. The total SKS, actually, the total credits is actually 12 credit semester, but in this semester, we will start with one subject having 3 credit semester. So the name of the subject is Education for Sustainable Development. So we are here very happy to have this chance, because before having the real one, we have chance to practice anything actually, yes, because we want to show, we want to perform that we are actually a good community, especially our students. We want to what we want to show our students are good, because according to the agreement, our students will be mixed with their students. So using this occasion, I think especially our students have good chance to familiarize themselves, to talk, to share their ideas, and to ask something such that they are not really nervous in the real meeting with their counterparts from Göttingen University. So I thank you so much for the committee, because this event become possible, and this is a great chance to all of us. I already talked with someone this morning. Actually, all of us have high desire, actually high desire how to be able to speak, how to be able to talk in English, but the chance is not really wide for this one. That's why we from the leaders of the faculty tries to find out a vehicle such that all of us can be in one room and sharing our ideas, practicing our um, English skills, especially practicing our listening and speaking skills. And I hope this event will give us much benefit to all of us. And again, thank you so much for the committee, especially for the speakers, because they have spared their time to all of us here. So thank you so much. And I think that's all my uh, welcoming speech. And we hope we will have a nice discussion. So thank you so much again. I close my speech with Paramasanti. Om Santi Santi Santi. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam.
Thank you, Prof. Inengah Suparta. The next agenda is taking picture. I would like to invite all audience this evening to open camera so we could take pictures together. Please host to take the picture.
All right, everyone, please be on cam. I will start to take a pictures in a few seconds. Okay. All right. So please give your base pose and base smile. I will start to come down to take the pictures in 3, 2, 1. All right, once again. All right. 3, 2, 1. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you for your participations. The next agenda is presentation sessions. Without wasting longer time, I would like to invite Ms. Safira, our moderator for the webinar this evening. For Ms. Safira, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Yasmin. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to welcome all of you to our third series of Bilingualism Improvement Program, of Faculty of Mathematics and Science, Ganesha Education of University, either on Zoom meeting or stream on the YouTube. My name is Safira Nur Andriani from a chemistry study program, who will be your moderator today. In this occasion, we would like to have two presentations from Dr. Ernat Iwayan Karyase, Bachelor of Education, Magister of Science, and Dr. Nia Erlina, Bachelor of Education, Magister of Education, for each 30 minutes, followed by the question and answer session. During the presentation, all of you can type the question on the chat room by mention your name and affiliation first, and then the question. Before presentation starts, I would like to introduce the first presenter, that is Dr. Ernat Iwayan Karyase, Bachelor of Education, Magister of Science from Chemistry Study Program. He would like to present with the title of the role and challenge of science education for achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Without further ado, I would like to welcome our first honorable presenter, Dr. Ernat Iwayan Karyase, Bachelor of Education, Magister of Science, to deliver the presentation. Mr. Iwayan Karyase, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Safira. My honorable deans of faculty and my senior colleagues in MIPA, and also our colleagues and beloved students that today evening come to our discussion a little bit about SDGs, this Sustainable Development Goals, that the talk that given to me to say thank you also to all our participants today, that I can greet you, we all in good health. Okay, let's me share my presentation. All of you can see this slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Voice?
Your
Okay.
voice is clear.
Okay. Our talk today is about the role and challenge of science education for achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. The talk will begin with introduction about SDGs, and then we talk a little bit about education for sustainable development, and we talk also science education in SDGs. Then for the final, I would like to tell you about concluding remarks. Okay, we begin with the definition about sustainability. The sustainability is the capacity to support, to maintain, and to endure our indicating both goals and process. That means that sustainability also can be maintained at a certain rate or level as in sustainable economic growth. Okay, then we continue about the perspective. There are today's in the published literature say that we have a 5 sustainability perspective, from conventional economics perspective, from non-environmental degradation perspective, from the integrational perspective, that is encompassing the economic, environmental, and also social aspects. Then the fourth is about intergenerational perspective, And then the last is holistic perspective that combines intergenerational and intergenerational perspective. Then from this, we can see that this is the example how we can enabling condition of vision of sustainability related to the Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, this is some literature about living well within planetary boundaries, this intergenerational and intergenerational equity, then resilient sustainable behavior, health and well-being, transparency, diversity, alternative economic model, and collaboration. This is the topic. Is today become the interesting thing that to drive the achieving the sustainable development goals. Okay, what is in nature? What is the sustainable development goals? We can find out from the UNDP, United Nations, that the Sustainable Development Goals, also known as the Global Goals, we adopt from the United Nations member states in 2015 as a universal call to action to end poverty, protect our planet, and ensure that all people enjoy peace and prosperity by 2030. So the 17 SDGs are integrated. That is, they recognize that action in one area will affect outcomes in others, and then development must be balanced, social, economic, and environmental system. Behind, countries have to commit to fast-track progress to those farthest behind first. So everyone is needed to reach this ambitious through the creativity, know-how, technology, and financial resources from all of society is necessary to achieve the SDGs in every context. So we continue about the significant global event that sustainability development. This is the event from the 1972. This is from the Limits of Growth report in the Stockholm. This is about environmental conference. Then continue with 1980 from World, and then continue until here in the 2012 in the Rio 20 United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development. This is begin, and then continue with the UN Agenda of 2030 and 2015. Here, the 17 SDGs published by UNESCO. Then the International Council 2018, and then 2020. This is called the Sustainability Research and Innovation. So we primarily, yes, today this is about innovation everywhere. So this means this is from the SRI. Okay, the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) were born in United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development in Rio de Janeiro. This is come from the Millennium Development Goals. They start from 2000 to tackle the dignity of property. Then the GDs are a bold commitment to finish what we start, tackle some of more pressing challenges facing the world today. And then from this, we can see what the in the year 2000, leaders from 189 countries, the transition from the MDGs to the SDGs. All of you have seen this video? And they wanted to achieve these goals in
No, no video.
Not yet videos?
No, the screen is your presentation only.
Your voice, you can hear it?
Not clear enough, I think.
Probably you have to click the button share the video. Pak Wayan, when you start to share the video, you have to click the button share the video. I guess there will be like a little button on the left corner before you start the video.
Where is this? Where does this set of videos from? The button.
Are you still opening the PowerPoint, Pak? Maybe you can close the PowerPoint and then you open your video because you can still your PowerPoint. It should be automatic when you start. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe you can close the PowerPoint if you show the slideshow, and then you can directly open the video in the YouTube.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, Pak.
This is set again.
Did you share it? Have you shared it? So, have you opened the video? And then you click the video that you opened. No, have you already opened the video from the YouTube?
Okay, yeah. Okay. We have already set and then go to the video.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. I guess now we can, yes, we can see it now. Thank you, Pak.
Thank you. This is about the transitioning from the Millennium Development Goals to the Sustainable Development Goals. This is the 6 point to become 17. continue with this point. So we have already discussed about this SDGs. This is 17 goals that the UNDP derived from this video. Then we continue with the education for sustainable development. We call this ESD. Yeah. This has come from the two parallel development tracks on their influence on education. Firstly, this is human development track. Then the second is the sustainable development track. So this is begin from this UNESCO established in 1948, 46, sorry, and then from the Stockholm Declaration of Human Implemental this time 1972 to become today's is post development agendas 2015 to become education 2030 agenda. This is the two tracks that together to become SDGs and also education agenda 2030. Okay, this is from this from the two approach we can see this integrating education into the sustainable development and also integrating sustainable development into the education 2030 agenda. This is become we call learning society for sustainability. So we discuss about two approaches to a learning society of sustainability. This is integrating sustainable development in education. This is about a quality education for sustainable development needs to be emphasized as a universal goals. The education for sustainable development provide a holistic learning model for the support quality education improvements. The quality education for sustainable development learning performance framework can guide education reform that clarify the multi-stakeholder governance of education under the 2030 agenda, the pursuit of quality education and learning for sustainable development, and then the focus on learning performance. Inherently qualitative in nature, but it lends itself a clear monitoring in education outcomes. So integrating education in sustainable development, we talk here about education perspective. Education is a strategic development investment. Education as a means of implementation of all SDGs and cross-cutting point. Education should aim strengthening individual capacity and creating enable environments, and also a learning society for sustainability is needed to address the transformative nature in the post-2015 development agenda. So, from the regulators can be defined that education for sustainable development become at least 5 steps. As a framework, firstly, the participatory vision for sustainability, enabling condition for sustainability, competence for sustainability, vision of sustainability. Okay, then pedagogies on learning strategies for education for sustainability development. State. So this is here from the prisons. The current state is called unsustainable. Then the step over here, this is called sustainability transition. we have sustainability competency, education for sustainability, this need pedagogies. So we talk about enabling condition to support so the vision all country become sustainable states. This is the SDGs as a normative framework. So this is here as ESD, a key instrument to achieve the SDGs. So from this, we call that a fundamental change is needed in the way we think about education role in the global development, because it has a catalytic impact on well-being in individual and the future of our planet. This is from the Irina Bokova, the Director General of UNESCO. Then education can and must contribute a new vision of sustainable development goals. This is in 2015 from UNESCO also. Then by 2030, ensure that all learners acquire knowledge and skill needed to promote sustainable development, including, among others, through education for sustainable development. This is ESD. So this is what comes from the number 4 of the SDGs. It's about quality education. Okay, this is quality education. We talk about ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning for opportunities for all. So this is how the learning objective of the quality education. We call this cognitive learning objective, socio-emotional learning objective, and behavior learning objective. You can see here are the pointers about these 3 objectives. Okay, there are also 8 education sustainable development key competencies. There's a system thinking competency, anticipatory competency, normative competency, strategic competency, collaboration competency, critical thinking competency, self-awareness competency, integrated problem-solving competency. So this pedagogical approach in ESD is, we talk also here is about the critical reflection, including the more traditional lecture, but also new approach such as reflective accounts, learning journal, and discussion group. And systemic thinking and analysis, participatory learning, thinking creatively for the future scenarios, and also collaborative learning. Okay, this is for example how this learning in the chemistry. This is here about green chemistry. Talk about this is a way looking at SDGs in the 5 P's. This is called people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnership. Okay, so here you can see the science education in SDGs. Here is science, technology, and innovation have been recognized as one of the main drivers behind economic growth and prosperity. In the context of new agenda for the achieving the SDGs, this science, technology, and innovation play a more central role. This is the pointers that how to become important the science for the sustainable development. This year recognize science as a universal public good, then acknowledge basic science as a principal requirement for innovation and provide a productive scientific environment, enhance diversity in science for the sustainable development, strengthen science education, and increase science literacy and capacity building in science on all levels, raise investment in science and by establishing national minimum target investment, then promote an integrated scientific approach addressing the social, economic, and environmental dimension. Okay, this is our interaction between human and environment. This is we talked about this, and also the conceptualizing the relationship between science, technology, and society, embracing sustainable challenge. Here, how the science can take the role the current state unsustainable to the desired state, the sustainable become the smart society, deciding what is okay. And then this is some point here with the science and technology, the difference between attribute the science and technology for incremental challenge and skill acquired from the training as a scientist versus those required to solve incremental problem. Okay, this is where we can continue with. This is also the biology. This is how the biology can take the role for the sustainable development. We can see also the transformation. This is the teaching for a better world, sustainability and sustainable development goals and construction of Chingnika University. So this is talking about how our university become take an important role for the SDGs. This is students, professor, alliance, students, competency and teaching methodology. This is how to do this. Okay, and then we continue with this case study using this framework. How the, for example, here this is didactic of matter in energy, student, and talking here this is SDGs, the alliance using STEMs, educational research network, competency, we generate here, then teaching method. For example, this is how the two sustainability and subject connected professor. Okay, this is how the technology improvement process in the class, smart classroom. This is smart classroom here. Also, we discuss a little bit. Then, okay, this is 6 implication of action to create small smart classroom. We have this is experimentation, the creation of learning environment, the use of sustainable mobile devices, putting in place flexible and versatile furniture, and then assuring of optimal environment condition for learning, and also innovative use of ICT in education. Okay, this is about service learning methodology for science education. This is about service learning. We call pengabdian masyarakat here. Okay, this. Then we continue with the higher education role into the SDGs in Indonesia. Okay, this is from director of ITB talking about this SDGs in Indonesia. This is the partnership, government, environments, and academy, and expert, and civil society, and media, and philanthropy, and business. And so the university contribution to the SDGs is sustainable development should become core business of higher education. So we here in the university should take important role for the SDGs. So the university is seeing the relevance of SDGs as a mandate by teaching, research, and public services, and promoting the diversity of action contribute the SDGs in policy, advocacy, leadership, and management, curriculum reform, research, outreach, campus greening, student initiative, and so on. So there are also 3 challenges in our education in SDGs. Challenge number 1 is about making higher education as an integral part of the new agenda. The second is mobilizing higher education institution worldwide. Higher education institution need to do it better inform and mobilize to engage the overall SDGs agenda and education 2030. Then challenge number 3 of turning our goals in action. The third challenge is to do the turning lovely goals and target to this global agenda into meaningful and feasible strategies and action. Okay. This is the 6 transformation to achieve the sustainable development goals. Science education, and science educators should take a role that get challenge to those transformation. So we can see this is from the 5 transformation, 6 transformations to correlate with the 17 SDGs. So more balls, the line is more thicker, the line, the greater contribution to the transformation to meeting the SDGs. So as a concluding remarks, education provide a critical link in understanding the connection between sustainability and development. It sharpens and builds people skills to take action that improves our quality of life now and for future generations. If institution, teachers, and learners in a very national context are made aware of and understand the connection between sustainability and development in their own societies and the implication of those connections, they can create the world where everyone has an opportunity to benefit from quality education and learn the values, behavior, lifestyles required for sustainable future and for the positive societal transformation. So the science education, whether it's I'm at introducing all learners to the main ideas and principle of science, and at the training of future scientists, call the teachers with specific qualification to the take science effectively, that is in a way that promotes student understanding and ability. Science teachers need a true understanding of the ways the student learn science content and skill and what sort of learning difficulties may occur and why. So the science educators ought to become active agent in facilitating the engagement in youth in addressing global challenges facing humanity. Youth are demanding action. Science educators ought to be enable learner and community to transform and reinvent the world they are inheriting. So the main role here is science as well as science education can best accelerate the achievement of the SDGs goal. The entry points here is strengthening human well-being and capabilities, shifting towards sustainable and just economies, building sustainable food system and healthy nutrition patterns, achieving energy decarbonization with universal access to energy, promoting sustainable urban and peri-urban development, and also securing the global environmental commons. So our challenge here, science educator must expand our views of science education to address sustainable development empowerment and social transformation, thereby ensuring an informed, ecologically or environmentally literate, truthful, and empathetic citizenry. Our science learning must be contextualized and connected to the life world experience of learners, while taking into consideration issue of place-based locality as well as social, civic, and cultural values. Okay, I think this is all my presentation today. This is because the time only 30 minutes. So I just skip all some points. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Iwayan Karyasa, for your presentation. It was a very great talk as listed on the SDGs. As we know that the quality of education is being an important part of our life, because we have our role to face all of the challenges that already mentioned by Mr. Karyasa and do our best to achieve the SDGs like that. And then thank you very much, Mr. Iwayan Karyasa, for your presentation. Before we are moving on the second presenter, I want to remind all of you that if you have a question, you can chat, you can type on the chat room by mention your name and affiliation first, and then the question. Okay. Now we are moving into the second session that will be presented by Dr. Nia Erlina, Bachelor of Education, Magister of Education from Physics Education Study Program. She would like to share with us her topic with the title of The Potential and Opportunities for Higher Education Students to Support the Industrial Revolution 4.0 Era. Again, for our distinguished participants, please send your question through the chat by mentioning your name and affiliation and then the question. Any of you have question. Okay, let's get started. Mrs. Nia Erlina for 30 minutes ahead. The time is yours, Mrs. Erlina.
Thank you, Ms. Safira. Can you hear my voice clearly?
Yes, we do.
Okay. All right. Good evening, my Honorable Dean of Mathematics and Natural Science Faculty, and also my Honorable, the first speaker, Mr. Iwayan Karyase, and next, all lecturer of Mathematics and Natural Science Faculty, and last but not least, all participants of Bilingualism Improvement Program. My name is Nia Erlina. I'm lecturer on Natural Science Program, and it's a great honor for me as speaker in today's webinar. I will show share screen. Okay, nice. In this evening, I would like to present very interesting topic. The title is Potential and Opportunities for Higher Education Students to Support the Industrial Revolution 4.0 Era. My presentation will be divided to several agenda. First, introduction. Second, purpose. Third, method. Next, result and discussion. Continue, conclusion and recommendation. And the last one, Q&A session, will be directed by moderator. First, here we have question. What happened in 21st century? What happened in Industry 4.0 and in globalization? This era give impact toward the world of work related to competencies, social movement, and technology. Next, we will watch a video about challenge of life activity in Industrial 4.0 era.
Technology, its impact on your world of work. The world of work is constantly changing. 65% of children entering primary school today will be doing new jobs that don't yet exist. Technologies that haven't yet been invented will solve problems that aren't even problems yet. You are part of the fourth industrial revolution. Technology is changing quickly. It affects most things you do in life and will impact how you work in the future. What you think is modern and technologically advanced now might look old and slow in 5 to 10 years' time. Think about how the iPhone has changed over the last 10 years. So just imagine what the future of mobile technology could be. New roles are emerging all the time. Just think about the jobs of today that didn't exist 10 years ago. jobs such as an app developer, social media consultant, and 3D printing engineer. Some of the tech predictions of the future include 10% of the world's population will be wearing clothes connected to the internet. By 2026, smart clothing will be available that changes color and shape and keeps you cool or warm. Artificial intelligence already exists among us in our everyday lives, and whilst they are predicted to take some human jobs, they still need humans to control and program them. Think about those in charge of controlling space robots, police robots, or controlling a robotic arm during surgery. Within 15 years, some things AI and robots are expected to do include driving cars, shopping, and cooking for us. Some of the jobs we know today will be considered being high risk for future automation. The jobs are there, just in a different and technological way. And remember, employees of the future need the skills to do the things that AI cannot easily do: critical thinking, emotional intelligence, and creativity. Some of the digital technology jobs that exist today include cybersecurity specialists, big data analysts, coders, and software engineers. Think, digital technology jobs are on the rise. Wales is playing its part at the cutting edge of new technology. The Academy of Robotics based at Aberystwyth University is aiming to have their driverless car go to deliver packages ready for testing in 2018. Comparison Creator in Cwmbran is developing the latest software for leading comparison websites such as GoCompare and Confused.com. Opportunities to work in the digital sector in Wales will be expanding. The digital sector in the UK is creating jobs 2 times faster than jobs in the non-digital sector. These jobs are usually highly skilled and highly paid. The average advertised digital salary in the UK is £51,000. Yet 3 in 5 businesses are suffering a shortage of digital talent, and more than half say this talent gap is on the rise. Have a think. Would you like a career linked to the digital world?
Okay. Which the video show the implementation, technological development, competencies, and social movement toward the world of work. Next. We will talk about social movement. There are the 4 types of social movement. First, redemptive. Redemptive refer to individual level, which lead to total change. Next, alternative. Alternative refer to individual level, which lead to partial change. Third, transformative. Transformative refer to societal level, which lead to total change. For example, about transformative, implementation of a study from home, especially in pandemic COVID-19. It's example. Next, reformative. Reformative refer to societal level, which lead to partial change. For example, change the view of gender equality. Next. Social movement have impact for changing the world of work. We will talk about the world of work is changing. We can show the picture. The picture show about percentage men and women worker in 1971 and 2013. In 1971, we saw that percentage the men worker more than woman worker, and the percentage men worker in 2013 decreased than men worker in 1971. Next, we talk about competencies. Transformation of learning is need to equip and prepare higher education graduates to become a generation that is superior and ready to face the challenge of their time. The following are solutions in terms of human resource readiness in the world of education, especially in Indonesia. To answer the challenge of education in the Industrial 4.0, which can be detailed as follows. First, ICT, it's mean providing understanding and facilitating the implementation of ICT in education. The second, innovative learning. It's mean preparing educator to create innovative learning for students to be creative, solve problems, optimize literacy and numeracy skill, collaboration, and critical thinking. Third, a responsive, reliable, and adaptive educator. It's mean providing training to make a responsive, reliable, and adaptive educator. The last about human character, it's mean providing meaningful civic education to create the human character. It's support from Samsuar and Revianto. Next, this topic aims to describe the initial review of higher education institution policies through experiential learning program in facing the Industry Revolution. Based study literature we get providing scholarship and services to support the development of the internalization of higher education. Next, from study literature we get effort to adjust the higher education curriculum to support experiential learning. The last, empirical, we get readiness of students in facing the fourth industrial revolution. The purpose from my research, assessing the potential and opportunities of higher education in Indonesia to equip students with competencies that are relevant to the need of the world of work in the era of the Industrial Revolution 4.0. The study used charting the fit method. There are the point first, Industrial Revolution 4.0, second, higher education regulation, and the last, student activity and motivation. We get data from 3 state university, public university, we call A, religion-based university, we call B, and distant learning system-based university, we call C. And respondents were 172 students. The student majoring in science education. The instrument, we use questionnaire and we use linear regression analysis. Next, we go to research and discussion. There are several research about survey, curriculum, teaching and learning. For survey, It means provision of scholarship and services to support the development of internalization of higher education. For example, about education program and positive response from international students. Curriculum, it means higher education curriculum effort to support experiential learning. Various forms of learning activities outside of tertiary institutions, including doing internship or work practice in the industry or teaching in academic unit, especially for teachers. Educational learning activity are participating in student exchange, conducting research and conducting studies or independent projects. The last research, teaching and learning. It means readiness of students to face the fourth industrial revolution. There are teaching and learning activities that support student motivation to face the industrial revolution 4.0. Next, services. We will talk about national and international scholarship. The following popular minister scholarship in Indonesia, for example, LPDP, Beasiswa Unggulan, Budi, Ministry of Communication and Informative Overseas Master Scholarship, and others. It means lecturer and student should be updating information in new website about scholarship. It's several example about scholarship. Next, a service divide to point education program and international student response. About education program, the graph show several education program in Indonesia. Science, technique, education, social, and etc. Next, about international student response. There are several items: tangible, competence, attitude, content from several universities in Indonesia, for example, ITB, UNPAD, UPI, that show good and very good category. The data means the Indonesian government support Indonesian and international students to continue their studies with a variety of scholarship programs, facilities, and services from several universities in Indonesia that are eligible to become international university. Next, curriculum. Our new curriculum, there is one idea in our new curriculum about Merdeka Belajar, Kampus Merdeka. It's one of a program in this idea. Policy principle gives students the right to study this semester outside their study program. The form of learning activities discussed is student exchange and international students. It means Indonesian students have great potential and opportunities to study abroad, and vice versa to get competencies that can answer the need of the Industrial Revolution 4.0. Thus, the implementation of curriculum policies affects student motivation to face the challenge of the Industrial Revolution 4.0. Next, we describe about student exchange. Student exchange are carried out by taking classes or semester at foreign and domestic university based on a cooperation agreement that has been made by the government. Other, each university will equalize the grade and credit taken at foreign university. Student exchange are held to shape student attitude as stipulated in the regulation of the Minister of Education and Culture. Namely, respecting the diversity of culture, view, religion, and beliefs, respecting other people's original opinion, or finding working together, and having social sensitivity and concern for the community and the environment. Next, it's agreed that student exchange have support from UNESCO. UNESCO has promoted a global education October 1994 in Geneva. UNESCO supports that education should develop the ability to recognize and accept values in personal, gender, social, and cultural diversity, and develop the ability to communicate, share, and cooperate with others. It's a credit recognition. In the full credit transfer system, the entry assessment is taken from the place where the student conduct lecture outside the campus or outbound. University from which the student originates can make adjustment following the cooperation agreement contract with the destination university and does not harm the right of the student. Next, just know from a student in Undiksa, the objective of student exchange include first, studying across campus, at home and abroad, living with the family and the destination campus. A student insect into unity in diversity will develop, cross-cultural and ethnic brotherhood will be stronger. Building student friendship between region, ethnicities, culture, and religion, thereby increasing the spirit of national unity and integrity. The last, organizing the transfer of knowledge to cover the disparity of education between domestic university and the condition of domestic and foreign higher education. Next, difficulties for Indonesian students studying abroad. There are several problems, adjustment. The problem of language. First problem, the problem of language. Communication process, relationship, teacher, and counselor to matter related to academic and non-academic functions such as transportation, driving license, and issues related to accommodation. It's from the research by Zhao. And exactly, we know that this condition, the problem can meet in our student. And next, about adjustment, the education system in new environment, homesickness, and local people behavior can cause stress and hinder the adjustment process, so that the student process required a more challenging effort to complete studies abroad. It's from Wang and Malikot and Smith and Kohaja. So from the problem and adjustment, we have support that the importance of students to explore further the culture and all aspect content in the destination country to adapt well. There are several stakes student exchange program. First, a student can join registration. Next, administrative and academic selection. And then student exchange. Next, the final product, evaluation, assessment, conversion of value and recognition, and the last report. A student can see it more detail in new curriculum Merdeka Belajar Kampus Merdeka guided. It's clear about student exchange program. Next, requirement that must be prepared for the scholarship program abroad. For example, have a grade point average in accordance with the provision, age limit provision, LOA should be prepared TOEFL or IELTS, and proposal regarding the study plan and final project research. The last research, readiness of students to face the fourth industrial revolution. In my research, use instrument. This study prepare response questionnaire regarding significant learning activity and motivation to face the student challenge of industrial revolution based on literature review on several journals. We define learning activity and student motivation. Learning activity, this detail, some of the activity topic that were asked were about the spirit of learning, technology literacy, communication skill, collaboration, and independent learning. For student motivation, the questionnaire, some of the characteristics that students must meet so that learning activities can be effective are focused, objective, the type of learning desired, skill development, and learning style need. Students are asked to respond to the learning management system and suggestion in learning to face the challenge of the Industrial Revolution 4.0. Next, it's the graph, so about student motivation and learning activity from 3 state university. The majority of students A and C agree with the learning activity provided by their campus. We saw that A and C have provided facilities and learning activities that are effective. In line with the response to learning activities, we saw that A and C have provided facilities and learning activities that can increase student motivation. It's relevant to research by Tokan et al. He said that motivation and learning behavior are two very important factors in determining student learning achievement. Next, we can see two graphs. It's describe about student response to learning activity and student motivation based on gender. The total male student who strongly agree to have motivation higher than female student. Thus, in this study, sample male student had a slightly higher motivation to face challenge in the Industrial 4.0 than female student. It's really fun with Kuo et al. Research. There is a slight difference in the percentage level of male and female student motivation. Next, from the research, from analysis regression equation, it's found that the regression coefficient is positive. It can be said that the learning activities carried out by students influence student motivation. The results obtained are that most universities have provided facilities and learning activities that are effective in following the industrial era 4.0. So that the majority of students also have high motivation in carrying out learning and preparing to face challenge in industrial era. It's really fun to Ulah et al. The research that state that e-learning activity include learning method, classroom environment, and interaction of educator with students are several factors that can affect the increase or decrease in student level of motivation.
Mrs. Nia, sorry, your time is about finished. So maybe you can wrap your presentation.
Okay, can I show about conclusion and recommendation?
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay. The last, I will present a conclusion and recommendation. The implementation of curriculum, surveys, teaching and learning policies affect student motivation to face the challenge of the Industrial Revolution 4.0. And it's the support students should be join scholarship, collaboration, international student, and increase their skill about competencies in the 21st century and technology. For example, high order thinking. And students should not forget about think positively with diversity and natural light and local wisdom in our country. That's all my presentation. We hope students able to increase their collaboration because collaboration in an effort to create knowledge, what peace and human welfare can be realized. That's my presentation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Nia Erlina, for your fruitful talks. Okay, while waiting for the incoming questions, I would like to remind all of the participants to file out the list of attendance in order to get your certificate. And then now we are moving to the Q&A session. I will read some of the questions that already sent by. Okay, for the first question, maybe it's for Mr. Iwayan Karyasa, I think, but I'm not sure. I will ask to the questioner. This is the question from Mr. Igusti Nurah Agung Surya Putra from Chemical Analyst. May I ask first, would you like to answer the question, Mr. Surya? Is it for Mr. Iwayan Karyasa or Mrs. Nia Erlina? May I have your voice?
Yeah, thank you. The question is for Bu Nia because it has something to do with competencies and it is related to her talk before. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the confirmation, Mr. Surya.
I'm really sorry, Mbak Safira, you mute your microphone, I guess.
Sorry, I forgot. Okay. So the first question is for Mrs. Nia Erlina from Mr. Surya. As of nowadays, the undergraduate education in Indonesia, the certification becomes something that really important. Even to be a teacher, graduates have to take like teacher profession certification. Aside from their 4 until 5 years undergrads, does it mean that the education in Indonesia failed to reach certain competencies? Do you like to answer now or later, Mrs. Nia?
Later.
Okay.
Later. I will read.
And then the second question, is also for Miss Nia Erlina from Miss Luputu Budi Yasmini from Physics Education. What the real meaning or impact of Industry 4.0 for education? And then maybe the third question from Mr. Ketut Suma. I think it's for Mr. Iwayan Karyasa. It's about according to the presenters, does education in Indonesia accommodate the concept of sustainable development? What is the role of science education in sustainable development? And then what competencies should teachers have in realizing education for sustainable development? Okay, and then the approach of science, technology, society, or culture and the environment based on the Trihita Karana philosophy can be used for science education for sustainable development. What do you think? Oh, it's about one more. He thinks that the sustainable development is a development that makes people prosperous today without harming the people who will come. Do you agree? And then science education for sustainable development is expected to develop literacy in science, technology, culture, and the environment. What is your comment? Okay. Maybe is there any of you that want to answer first? Maybe. I would like to give the time for the speaker to answer the question maybe.
Okay, from Sunun. Thank you for the science. First of all, I would like to tell about the science education takes important role for the sustainable development goals. You can see this is from the 17 sustainable development goals, the 17 the SDGs focus. We can see most of all depend on the science, technology, and also innovation. It means that science takes important role. The first role, this is, I think, from my opinion, is the science takes a foundation about the nature, at least the foundation about the nature. If we understanding what the nature is, and then from the nature we can develop not only our understanding but also the awareness. We live together in the one nature, so we should protect our nature. We should develop our nature. So we make our nature in peaceful, so we can live together in peacefully. Because of this, I think this is the role of science education is very important. So this is, I think, it is the first thing. The second is the foundation of science. We can improve our creativity. From the creativity become more invention to know about the characteristic of our nature. So from the invention become what's called innovation. When invention times economic value, so become innovation. So we need today innovation. As we know that as our world 2020 agendas is about innovation. So innovation comes from invention, at least. Invention comes from our understanding of our nature, or characteristics of nature. So the science education give the foundation to the understanding of our nature. This is my first opinion about what the science education role for these SDGs. But a lot of study tell about this, how the science education can take role in the 17 SDGs. Yeah. But the main thing I think is very important, the understanding and the creativity. The second is about what is here. Okay, about Trihita Karana. We have already the Trihita Karana. This is very maybe very famous about the concept and also its philosophy. The foundation our movement. I think our university can take important role in sustainable development. So we have already have the concept how to harmonize the human development and also our environmental development, and as well our nature or our spiritual development. Okay, we have three kinds, not only two kinds. This is human development and environmental development, but also spiritual development. Okay, from the spirit, we can give not only understanding but also care. From the spirit, we can go to the caring people, caring nation, caring our society, caring our nature. Okay, so I think this is a very good foundation from our philosophy in Indonesia. But how to implement the Trihita Karana to become action, to define clearly the action, not only the concept, but the action, to do research, to do teaching and learning in our campus, for example, to educating our teacher candidates, to educating people around us as a society. This is, I think, to need how to take a clearly action, at least as a pointer, to become our policy, I think, our policy, and then to the action. So I think this is for the second. So the third is about what competencies should teacher have in realizing education for sustainable development. We have already talked about the competency, so we have already, but at least we have the 8 competency from the literature. It's competency. So this is this.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Iwayan Karyasa, for your answer. Maybe I will move first to another presenter, speaker. Okay, or is there any question that haven't to be answered, or do you want to add something, Mr. Iwayan Karyasa?
Yeah. At least
okay,
6,
sorry.
8 competency we can should develop for our educator, as an educator. Firstly, system thinking competency. So the abilities to recognize and understand relationships, to analyze complex systems, to think of how systems are embedded within different domains and different skills, and to deal with the uncertainty. The second is anticipatory competency. This is the ability to understand and to evaluate multiple features of possible, probable, and desirable, to create our vision in the future, to apply the precautionary principle, to assess the consequence of action, and to deal with risks and changes. So I think this is very important. So the anticipatory competency. Then the third is a normative competency, the ability to understand and reflect the norm. Strategic competencies, the ability to collectively develop and implement innovative action for the further sustainability. Then collaborative competencies or collaboration competencies, critical thinking competency. self-awareness competency, and integrated problem-solving competency. So I think we have already the integrated problem-solving competencies, self-awareness competency, critical thinking competency, collaboration competency. This is 4C. Then we add 4 more: strategic competencies, normative competencies, anticipatory competencies, system thinking competencies. For example, the anticipatory competencies, we have natural disaster, for example, pandemic, for example. How the people can, how we, our teacher can teach students to anticipate the flood, for example, the flood, the banjir bandang, for example, how to anticipate. So I think this is very important to us to define more competencies, to take important role for our sustainable development. Okay. Then continue with the other. What else? Yeah. Karena we have already the sustainable development. Okay, the last. I think the sustainable development is a development that makes people prosperous today without harming the people who will come. What is mean here? Sustainable development is a development that makes people prosperous today without, okay. If we have a normative competency that our life today is not certainly come today, but for not only for this is for the last and for the future. It means our purpose today is come from the last. We believe this in our belief, in our Hindus belief. So this is Sanchita Karma. Yeah. I think this is about we can talk more about this in the next time. Yeah, but I think it's very important. I actually don't agree that our just people develop the people only for the today prosperous today, but we must understand that what we have today, this is also the need for the future, our mankind, our life, not only today but also for the future. So this sustainable development is the development not only for today but also for the future. So I don't agree this about the people thinks that development is only for us today. Okay, science education for sustainable development is expected to develop literary in science, technology, culture, and employment. What is your comment? So the literacy, according to our new minister, is 6 literacy. We had science literacy, technology literacy, cultural literacy, social literacy, employment literacy, and also financial literacy and digital literacy. So science education should give not only the 4 literacy, but also more than 4. This is about financial literacy and also the digital literacy. Yeah. The communication literacy also out of the needs. Okay, I think this is my comment. Not only for the to develop science literacy, but also technology literacy, cultural and environmental literacy, and social literacy, financial literacy, and also digital literacy. It is 6 literacy that our Minister of Education and Culture said before. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Iwayan Karyase, for answering all of the question. And then I will move to our next speaker that already have her answer as well. Okay, Mrs. Mia, please answer.
Okay.
Your time.
I will give answer from 3 questions. Yeah, about impact of Industry 4.0 for education, and then certification is important, and about graduates who take job outside their previous studied field.
Okay.
The first, there are several impacts. Industry 4.0 for education, about ICT and educator and student competencies and human character from environmental development. It's as a challenge in Industry 4.0 for education. For example, in ICT, providing understanding and implementation in education, and then about educator and student competencies, like Mr. Wayan Karyase, he have explain more about competencies and about human character from environmental development. It's need treatment in teaching and learning to create the human character. It's very important. And then about certification, based on the competencies which need and the condition in Industry 4.0, certification is important. Although graduates have 4 or 5 years in learning in university, the condition suggestion that graduates need updating skill and train. So actually our challenge not only 4.0 era, but next we will face 5.0 era. So certification is important to make ready about teacher. The last about graduated who graduated take job outside their previous studies field. Now it's mean teaching and learning in academic. It's very important, especially to support high order thinking skill and technology. So if graduates have talent and other passion in their job, it's thinking ability and about technology can implement to their field in work. Although they work not related with previous field in academic. So in my research explains that in academic environment, academic instruction, it's very important, yeah, to train and to implement by lecture, by academician and students. So it's very important to increase motivation in 4.0 era. But actually, our students still low in motivation to face 4.0 era. That's its challenge for our as lecturer and as students. That's our answer, Miss Safira. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Nia, for your answer. Actually, there are several questions that has not been answered by you, but maybe I will forward the remaining question to you, and then for all of the participants who already sent the question, don't worry, Ms. Nia will answer your question privately. I mean, like other than this forum, I mean. And then that's all for today's discussion. Thank you for everyone who sit tight through the session with us, especially for our great speakers, Mr. Iwayan Karyase and Mrs. Nia Erlina. And let's clap our hands virtually. I'm Safira as your moderator today, sign off, and I would like to return to our Master of Ceremony, Miss Jasmine. Miss Jasmine, the time is yours.
Thank you very much, Ms. Safira, Dr. Iwayan Karyasa, and Dr. Nia Erlina. We have heard an inspirational topic today. Finally, we step to the last agenda, is closing. On behalf of the committee, we apologize for all imperfections during the webinar. Thank you very much for your participation and see you next time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Miss Safira, Miss Jasmine, and thank you for Mr. Iwayan Karyase. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Wayan. Thank you, Dunia, and thank you, everyone. So, this meeting today. Have a good night, have a good rest, and take care. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Good